Okay, when you come across a word problem and you're thinking to yourself, I already know the total and I need my answer to be smaller, but I have to make sure that it's in equal groups, you're going to be doing division. You're going to do the process of dividing. So this is what we're going to be working on is division. Today in class you got the vocabulary, and I'm going to be using those terms throughout this video lesson so that you can practice hearing them and see them in use. So on your note side, go ahead and copy down that you're going to use division when the answer will be smaller in equal groups. So just these two notes. This is your thinking pattern. You can put division. Go ahead and pause so you can copy it down. When we are doing division, we have a process that we continuously do over and over and over again. It doesn't do us any good to know the process if we don't understand what division is. That's why we talked about that division is the idea of putting a certain number into groups, and those groups have to be equal groups. So the process that we're going to be doing is actually something that we call divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. A way to remember that, and you can put this on the student side, some people remember it. Does McDonald's serve burgers? If you want to come up with something else, you can. Whatever you can remember, it has to be in this exact order because this is the exact order that it happens every single time. So let's look at the next page after you've copied this DMSB onto your student side. And you can use this saying or you can come up with another one. Okay, division steps. That D doesn't really stand for does, it stands for divide. This is where we're going to be actually doing the opposite of multiplication. And these steps may not make any sense to you right now, but go ahead and copy them down on the teacher side and we're going to go through each one. M means to multiply, S subtract, and B bring it down. And you're going to continue this until there are no more numbers to bring down, and sometimes you're going to have that remainder, that vocabulary word we talked about today, when there's some leftovers. So that's why if you can come up with something catchy to remember, divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. If you want to try to just remember this, that's great. Does McDonald's serve burgers? Dad, mother, sister, brother, whatever you need to do. There's a lot of different ways you can come up with. You can come up with your own mnemonic device. All right, as I said, sometimes when you're dividing, you're going to have remainders. Remainders can be reported several different ways. You're probably used to seeing them as putting the R and then the number, and that's how we write them sometimes, but we're going to also learn how to write them as a fraction. In 6th grade, you're really going to get into writing them as decimals, but remember, fractions and decimals are the same thing. And then there's times when you need to round up or round down, like if you're Okay, let's practice some of these. Today we're just going to be doing a 1-digit divisor into a 2-digit dividend and a 3-digit dividend. Remember, the divisor is the number that you're trying to break your big number into that many groups, and your dividend is the number you start out with, what number that you have in front of you that you want to put into the groups. And remember, the quotient is the number you come up with, the answer to your division problem. It's how many groups you ended up putting it in. So I'm just going to spin my little thing. We're going to have a 4 in our divisor. This is the number that's going into our group. We've got a 7, and I'm going to make it 2 digits. So we are trying to divide 71 of something into 4 groups, and we're going to see how many is going to be in each group. Or I could say I have 71, I want to put 4 in each group. How many groups am I going to have? So there's 2 ways you can say the division problem, and there may be a remainder, there may not be a remainder. So we're going to go through the steps of divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. You've got to know your multiplication facts in order to be able to divide, because division is the opposite of multiplication. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to look at this 4, and I want to know if 4 can go into 7. That means is 7 divisible by 4? Well, I know that 4 times 2 is 8, so that's going to be too many times. So 4 times 1 is 4, so I'm going to start with 1 time. So 4 comes to 7 one time. So I did my division. Now I'm going to multiply these two numbers together. 1 times 4 is 4. So I just did my multiplication. Now I have to subtract only the part I've dealt with. 7 minus 4 is 3. So I did my subtraction, and now I'm going to bring down whatever's over here. So now I have 31. So I'm not trying to decide how many times 4 will go into 71 now. I have 31 here that I've got to put 4 into. Well, I'm going to go over here and do some more of my multiplication facts. I know that 4 times 8 is 32, so that's too many times. 4 times 7 is 28. So I'm going to use 7 this time. 7, okay, that was our division. We said we're going to go in 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. Now I'm going to do my subtraction. 31 minus 28 is 3. Bring down. There's nothing else to bring down. So that means I am done dividing. As long as this number right here is smaller than that number, then I've done it correctly. If this ends up being bigger than my divisor, I did not divide correctly. So your remainder, that's what this guy is right here, can never be bigger than your divisor. So we have 3 left over. So we can report that just by saying remainder 3. So this problem is 17 remainder 3. That means I could put 71 into 4 groups with 17 in each, or I can put 71 having 4 in each group. That means I'd have 17 groups, but I'd have 3 left over. It did not go in there perfectly. To check myself, I'm going to use multiplication. Got 17 times 4, and I'm going to use the lattice. 1 times 4 is 4, and you can do traditional if you want. 7 times 4 is 28. I'm going to add my places. So 17 times 4 is 68. Add back my remainder, and I get 71. So I checked myself, and I am correct. Now let's try a problem with a 3-digit dividend. And remember, this takes practice. If you're not getting it right away, that is okay. Practice, practice, practice. Okay, I rolled my number cube and I created a 3-digit dividend. This is the number I'm starting out with. I have 336 of something. I'm either going to put it into 4 groups and want to know how many is in each group, or I'm going to put 4 into each group, and I got to figure out how many groups I actually have. So we're going to go through the same process. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. So I start here. 4 into 3. Can 4 go into 3? I know that 4 times 1 is 4, so it cannot go in there at all. So I'm going to put a little X here so that I know it cannot go into the 3. Now, can 4 go into 33? Well, I remember back to my facts I was doing a minute ago. 4 times 8 was 32, so that's pretty close. So I'm going to use 8. 8 times 4, because we're now in the multiplication, is 32. Subtraction, 33 minus 32 is 1. Bring down. I have a 6 to bring down. Start the process all over. Now I'm not trying to put it in here, I'm trying to put it in what's left over here. 4 goes into 16. Well, I know that 4 times 4 is 16, so I'm going to use 4 up here in my quotient. 4 times 4 is 16. I multiplied. Now I'm going to subtract. 16 minus 16 is 0. Bring down. There's nothing else to bring down. This would be my remainder. I have nothing left over, so I don't have to put R 0. You don't have to report 0 remainders, only when it's 1 or above, or a fraction or above. So this one went in 84 times evenly. So I either have 84 groups of 4 or 4 groups of 84. So this was my dividend, this is my divisor, and this is my quotient. I'm going to check myself. So I'm going to do 84 times 4. I'm going to do traditional this time for those of you that like traditional. 4 groups of 4 is 16. Regroup. 80 times 4 is 320 plus 1 would be 330 because it was one group of 10. So 336, those two check out. I'm good to go on that one.